Hey there, I hope you all are having a good week. Sorry that I'm a little bit late getting your video posted. Still playing a little bit of catch up from last week. So we made it through orientation in week 1, and now we are in the thick of things in week 2. So the first thing, don't panic. I know that there's a lot in this week's folder. I gave you a couple of readings. First of all, reading chapter 2 of The Second Machine Age, reading Cowan's Industrial Society and Technological Systems. This article shows how different technological systems have spurred other breakthroughs and how these technological systems really become kind of enmeshed in a web of much larger technological happenings. And you see pretty quickly how these innovations have impacted society a bit beyond the ways that we would probably think of at first glance. I also included 50 greatest breakthroughs since the wheel. I did that in relation to your technology timeline essay. So first of all, with the 50 greatest breakthroughs since the wheel, you don't have to read the whole thing. That's your instructor is telling you don't have to read the whole article. You may want to. It's very entertaining and nicely written. But in addition to the list of what people voted for as the 50 greatest breakthroughs since the wheel is a discussion of how a lot of these people came to their decisions and what their rankings were. And I thought that would be helpful for you as you think about what your greatest breakthroughs are, your greatest technological innovations you want to focus on, and how you want to quantify those. Is it because the technologies you chose, do they have a huge impact on other technological developments? Do they fundamentally change the way we live our lives? Do they save hundreds of thousands of lives? Whatever that reasoning is, this gives you an opportunity to tease that out. And I thought that this article was helpful in directing that a little bit. So, I have included some other supplemental materials in this week's folder. I typically require viewing God and the Scientist, but I had asked you to do so much this week that I didn't really feel like adding to your load. But I do want to talk about that a little bit. You may have noticed that I have a little contextual framing note down there. This documentary, I'm only asking you to watch the first 22 minutes. That's the part that is relevant to what we're talking about. It really goes into the relationship that science and the Christian church used to have, how that changed, and it really brings to light how some barriers can be placed on scientific discovery and the free sharing of thoughts. And that was what I wanted the focus to be. And I also like that they talk to a Jesuit brother later in the segment who essentially says, that science and religion can coexist, that people just have to be reasonable in how they approach these things. But I thought it was nicely done, give some background on Copernicus, Bruno, Galileo, some that you may be familiar with. And if you watched the reboot of Cosmos a couple of years ago, you may have seen some information on these folks too. A couple other things. There's a video that you'll see called Earth's History on a Football Field, and I am using that kind of to put in perspective how short of an amount of time we're talking about when we talk about recorded history and when we talk about time after technological innovation. To us sitting here in this amazing technologically supported world we live in, it feels like things have been the way they are for a long time, and they really haven't. And underneath that, you'll see a link to a visual called Putting Time in Perspective. I think it's from waitbutwhy.com. If you click on the visual, it will enlarge and you can see it up close, and it is a very useful tool for putting time into perspective. And we see how short of an amount of time has passed since some of our amazing technological innovations, since some of the big events in history. And I'm not asking you to study this for a long time, but I find it pretty interesting and I thought you'd like it. So those are the things this week. Of course, you have your discussion post. I've already read several of those. I'm really enjoying the conversations we're having on the discussion board, so I really appreciate the time, effort, and thought you're putting into that. Your checkpoint for the week, just letting me know how things are going. And then the quiz. You can retake the quiz up until the deadline if you need to. So remember that is an option. Your technology timeline essay is available in this week's folder. It's due on January 30th, so you've got a week and a half or so to work on that. What I ask you to do in this essay is to choose 3 innovations of known origin, so don't give me fire. Make sure it's something you can actually trace the history of. And give a background on each of these 3 innovations and discuss why you think each of these 3 innovations is among the most important. You do not have to write an introduction. You do not have to write a conclusion. You can if you want to. But all I'm asking are the paragraphs about those innovations. And that should be submitted to the Turnitin link and the assignment link by our deadline on Wednesday, January 30th. If you need some help getting started with that, of course, the Atlantic's article is a great place to start. I also have some other resources that might be useful in the supplemental materials folder. And if you have questions about the assignment, as always, let me know. Remember, you also have the Writing Center and the Online Writing Lab here at CCCC at your disposal. And I do have a link to the library's site and their research guide for the course, including a research guide for this essay and some resources that may be helpful. So I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope the course is going well for you. If you have questions or need help at any time, please let me know. And I will be back with another video for you all next week, hopefully on Thursday instead of Friday. I appreciate your patience. Semester was a little bit of a rocky start, so I'm hoping that we're in the groove a little bit better now. So if you have questions or need help, please let me know. Take care.